Bob Lazar, a name synonymous with extraterrestrial discourse, stands as a polarizing figure in the UFO community. His audacious claims about classified government projects and extraterrestrial technology have both intrigued and divided enthusiasts for decades. As Lazar breaks his long-held silence, anticipation swells, offering a renewed hope for clarity amid a cosmos of unanswered questions. The early whistleblower. In the late 1980s, a seemingly unassuming man named Bob Lazar emerged from the shadows with claims that would reverberate through the UFO community and beyond. Lazar alleged that he had been employed at a secretive government installation known as S4, located close to the infamous Area 51 near Groom Lake in Nevada.
Not really exactly sure what time it is, but my wife is on the phone because this right here is going on. Yeah, you need to. So this is still happening. And now we got some cops rolling up here. Because this shit right here, that's some wild business. Anyway, see the wrong motherfucker. They need to come up right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is crazy business right here. I won't let my dog, but stay. Oh, shit. This right here is the wildest business I've ever seen in a long ass time. What the Ain't no way no. So this is still happening. I'm being rebuked in the name of Jesus. Yo, I'm not sure what happened to this lady. But I'm not sure what happened to this lady. Something gotta happen. My dog is over here bugging out. This is not how I wanted to.
So you know, this is going to increase exponentially around the planet. This is why false flags are going to take place in 2024. And then when the false flags takes place, and because of the food shortage, because of the drought, and because of the chaos that's going to be taking place on the planet, it's this type of activity is going to be covered up. But remember, I told you before, cannibalism is going to happen on the planet. It's already happening in other countries. It's coming to America. You know why? Because those that have forgotten their past are deemed to repeat it. That sun, with those CMEs, these coronal mass ejections that are coming from the sun, these are charged particles that are bonding with the atom molecules, which is the smallest unit of the cell. And the first thing that's going to be affected on the body is the brain. The brain is the number one organ on the body, the most important and the most complex organ in the body that is used for all your physical functions. So understand and overstand when they say zombie apocalypse. This is what they're talking about. This is when they say CMEs. The sun, your brain, your lobes around your brain, your frontal lobe, your occipital lobe, your temporal lobe, all of them have a magnetic energy field around them. We're plasma, we're energy beings, this is an electric universe. So the sun is releasing charged particles. These particles are hot. These particles are, and you have with UVC radiation. UVC radiation is a detoxifier, a germ killer, a mutating wavelength. This is why they spray in the sky. This is why they want to block out the sun. That's why they hope that it's cloudy and dark. Because again, UVC radiation is changing every living organism on the planet. What are we mutating into? This is the question that is at hand. This is why they are afraid of what you call CMEs. This is why they're monitoring the sun. It has nothing to do about just the power, electricity going out, and we're going to lose communication. That has nothing to do with it. It's also an anatomical, a DNA, a physical effect as well. Period.
For over 25 years.
We know there's something there on the FAA weather cam. We know it. It wouldn't be reflecting in the sky. And this particular like object also showed up in Hawaii on one of their cameras too. And for those who say, it's just reflection, it's just something up there, there's something on the camera and things like that. Really? 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 No, it's not. This is the Wolf Creek Pass.
That's what you call Nibiru. Nibiru is the ship that they let all the evil inhabitants that is on that ship, and they get to come and they eat, is what they do. That's what they do, because that's the inhabitants. And when they come off the ships, they come eat. This thing, 3 days of darkness, y'all better be ready, and I hope y'all are doing right to the best of y'all ability.
In Colorado, we haven't been here for quite a while. And if you look at this depiction right here, there are some
That
who
is
hold
Nibiru.
to the mindset that Nibiru is like a ship. Like a ship. Let's look at this really fast right here. I've never looked up an image of it before, but we're going to look at it. So on the top, it's supposed to have an antenna. If it's a ship, it's probably the Anunnaki. A fourth stone diamond, whatever that is, a crystal. One of the 4 stones. Oh, wow, this is really interesting. The third stone is an emerald stone right there in the center. Kind of look like a Pokeball. It really does look like a Pokeball in the center. A magnetic force. The second stone is a ruby stone, a magnetic force, crystal, solar panels on the bottom, a hologram beam on the bottom, a magnetic conductor, magnetic force, first stone sapphire. So we have sapphire, diamond, crystal, emerald, ruby, and a hologram beam underneath. A hologram beam underneath. So this is supposed to be like the Nibiru. It's one depiction.
Wow. Use this hand posture. Use it until you see the required results. The next thing you can do is to write down all your intentions on a full moon day. It will likely happen faster and more quickly if your intention is just one and is specific. The next full moon is going to take place either on the 5th or 6th or 7th of January around 11 p.m. Watch out for this day so that you can access the power of the moon. If you like this kind of truly know how to work with the moon in order to manifest your reality, then we all already understand that the moon has an effect on how we act.
Whether or not you are more productive or not, whether or not there are certain aspects of your life that you got to deal with, or there are certain things you have to let go. All of these things come into its peak, right? And then that gives you an opportunity as you get the next other half of the cycle for you to shift. So that's what I say. What are you looking to shift out of? What if in the beginning it's
be a time to really refine and focus in on how you're going to get to the things that you want, and really start chipping away, the things that aren't really working and focusing in. This is also probably the most lucrative time for doing spell work.
Believed to not only be connected to the weather and the tides, but your mood, sleep cycles, and much more. Here's what's recommended for each phase. First is the new moon, also known as the dark moon. On this day, the moon isn't reflecting any light, making it invisible. It's time for a self-analysis, introspection for a fresh start. Use this day to plan what you'd like to achieve in the next 28 days. Next is the waxing crescent. First sliver of light. Use this period to set your intention to put your goals on the present tense. Then we got the first quarter. This is the best time to take action. Then we got the waxing gibbous. The who? It's time to be patient because it ain't the full moon yet. There it is. And this is when you see the fruit of your labor. That too, because emotions are high. Then we have the waning gibbous. It's a time to look at the negative and get it out your face. The last quarter is about removing yourself. And then the waning moon, I don't know, it looks familiar, right? This period is about reflection and closure, especially with
proud Chalcedony.
Let me tell you something. This dirty beach right here, this dirty sandy beach that you're looking at, that's an alien. That's one of the reptile people. Don't no human being move their eyes and make them kind of faces. That's a reptilian. That's what's running your government. Them dirty sandy beaches. Dirty sandy beaches. Let me tell you something. This dirty beach right here, this dirty sandy beach that you're looking at, that's an alien. That's one of the reptile people. Don't no human being move their eyes and make them kind of faces. That's a reptilian. That's what's running your government. Them dirty sandy beaches. Dirty sandy beaches. Let me tell you something. This dirty beach.
I am just fucking, I've been confused for many fucking years when I would see these folks in these black churches, what they were back then, because, blacks and whites didn't go to the same church back in those days.
You wouldn't be for desegregation at all then, would you?
No, I think segregation is the proper thing.
What about this business that a lot of people say about being created equal? What's your feelings about that?
I don't think they are.
How so?
Well, I can't quote what I know.
Well, may I ask where you know it from then?
From the Bible.
There are a lot of phonies who will stand up and tell you that, all are equal in the eyes of God. How silly can you get? Christ himself was the greatest teacher of segregation. You never yet found a blackbird in a bluebird's nest, unless he was there to steal the eggs. And it applies to any animal that lives. You mix with your own kind.
And in their churches too, white Southerners sang and prayed to a God that to them decreed segregation.
Well, certainly I believe in segregation.
Now, as you know, these people, they don't know that Christianity's wrong. They doing it. So on this particular part, the little bit I showed, chew the meat, spit out the bones.
I have stated that I have believed in it. I believe in it now, and I always will believe in segregation. First, because God teaches it. I think it's God's plan that the races be.
He would have been the kind that the slave master would have got to try to convince the other slaves to be good.
America needs Donald Trump. We need Donald Trump, especially black people. Because you got to understand, my black brothers and sisters, they told me, you got to try to emulate and imitate the white man, and then you can be successful. So we tried that. So you say, if you can get some money, you can do this here. I told Michael Jackson, I said, if you're poor, you are a poor Negro. I would use the N-word. But if you're rich, you are a rich Negro. If you are intellectual, you're an intellectual Negro. If you are dancing and sliding and gliding, Negro, you are dancing and sliding and gliding Negro. So dare not alienate.
But these fucking Christians, they're the ones who held you black motherfuckers in slavery.
And I believe in it now, and I always will believe in segregation. First, because God teaches it. I think it's God's plan that the races be segregated. We find, and that's what they're trying to do to the colored race. That's what the outsiders is trying to do. They're trying to come down here and force them.
How in the fuck can a black person claim to be a goddamn Christian? How?
There's heaven? Oh, not just heaven, Ruckus. White heaven. You don't say. White heaven is for decent, good, God-fearing Christians who just happen to hate everyone and everything relating to black people. That means no Muhammad Ali, no hip-hop music, and no fucking Jesse Jackson.
What about Whoopi Goldberg?
Nope. This is how. Turns people. And if you teach everyone on earth to love the white man, you too can join us in white heaven.
And you know, mostly these fucking black Christian leaders like T.J. Jakes or whatever the fuck his name is, and
swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming? And
they're all a bunch of goddamn cons. T.J. would have.
Man, I want y'all to hold on to some words from Colossians 3:22. Slaves, honor your earthly masters in everything. And do it not only when their eyes are on you and the current their favor, but do it with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Reverend Gray. Wise words.
I don't know what. Look, I'm a motherfucking hick from Louisiana, and I'm white. Motherfuckers wasn't forcing my family into picking cotton and brutalizing them, mistreating them, treating them worse than a fucking animal. But look at them. These black fucking folks will go pile their black asses up in these goddamn churches, carrying on exactly what held them in goddamn bondage.
White folks got so rich. The untold story of American white supremacy. I mean, I just read about the Indian land grab, and I'm like, my gosh, man, good Lord. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. Because that means we've got to look people in the face and say, our forefathers were the worst people in the history of mankind. The things that they did, that manifest destiny, that kind of mentality has been atrocious. What we have done to the African Americans.
I'm talking about children, women, male adults, lynched. And then is to put us alive on spits with a fire beneath it and turn us and roast us until we dehydrated. And they pick up pieces of the bodies, and hundreds of whites would be standing and taking pictures with a body piece in their hand. They have the pictures, they show the pictures in the book. And they say, just get over that? You don't get over that. You have to move on. You have to live your life. You have to grow. You have to accomplish. You cannot use excuses. But that is in spite of your history.
A lot of people asking me this same question over and over again. I really wasn't going to get into it because in this world of what we shape and mold and to be our reality. So this is a question a lot of people ask me about these Anunnakis. Mommy, what's your take on the Anunnaki? Do you believe they real, this, that, and the other? Well, baby, out of all my studies and everything that I've learned throughout the years, I believe that the Anunnaki is the reason why we in this shit. That's right. I think they the fathers of all these man-made religions that you see. And I think the war of good and evil is against two brothers, your God and your Satan. Is these two brothers that came here fighting over the resources of this planet. I also think they were people here already before they got here. They want you to think that you were primitive and that you was these monkey people or whatever, apes or these unevolutionary people. They probably was beings that did look like that. But from my studies and realization of the things, women was here. Women that looked like me and all the rest of the women on this planet. And that's who they met when they came here. So when they talk about let us make them in our image, I think they're really talking about genetically splicing genes from women in themselves to bring forth men on this planet. That's my belief. Can I prove it? I don't know. No, I can't. But I know something's different with y'all, and it's been different since you got here. Now, I'm not trying to divide men over women, because at the same time, you came through her birth canal. You can't come on this planet unless you come through her. And they were trying to make some kind of permanent representative here to keep in control of the systems and things that they put in place so they can continue to extract the materials that they need for their survival. Are they the only ones that did this? No, baby. I think that everybody did a little bit of this. This is why you got all these different races. Hence the term, what I was saying about blood types. It's not about bloodlines, baby. They can care less about your bloodlines. It's about the blood type of the cosmic beings that came here and created all these different races and put in place their systems that come from their source and their creators that made them. Women have been here. Always gonna be here. That's why you keep finding their remains millions of years old and can't find a man right next to it. I think the stories in your biblical text are stories that they created to help you stay in servitude to them. A lot of this.
Facts, though, we were all here. They did find a man's skull. It was very old, almost as old as the woman's skull they found, but the woman's skull was actually older than the man's skull. That's just facts, y'all. And she's right on point.
Wasn't even written for women. Hell, women ain't got no place in any of these religions.
As humanity, really so foolish that we can't see the obvious? Do we not understand how serious the climate threats are and how quickly they progress? Do you see it? Look at this graph. You don't need to be Einstein or Chalakian to understand it, yeah? See, there was little, and now there's a lot. But a lot of bad, not good. A lot of danger for all of our lives. There are more destructive earthquakes now, and there will be even more every single day. Is that really not clear?
I also feel a great responsibility for my little daughter, who is 6 years old. I remember the moment when I first saw her tiny hands when she was a newborn baby, holding her tiny fingers, made me realize how vulnerable she is in this world. I realize that I am essentially the only person who can protect her. She came into this harsh world full of injustice and violence. And she doesn't know anything about it yet. But she relies on my protection. I am the only one who can protect her in this world and provide her with safety. And now, during our conversation in the studio, I realized
Airport. Come back over here. This is the problem. Oh, come back over here. This is the problem. Because people don't really realize what's happening. So they think this is a game. But the game is coming quickly to an end. My apologies, people. I wanted to get my phone in a good position to zoom in. See the stationary object between the 12 and 1 o'clock position, green or. So let me zoom into that. This is it is what it is, people. It is what it is.
That we haven't been able to shake off because the first thing we have to do to shake off our ancestral slave history is get a white man back his God. And we refuse to do that. We need to give him back his name. We refuse to do that. We think these things are not important, but they didn't do anything to us that wasn't important. Everything was designed to rob us of ourselves and make them the people that are the best. When actually, you are the best. We have the best man on the planet. Everybody want our man but us. And that's what it was designed to do, all of the things that have been put in us. But it's very difficult now because we function almost as enemies. We don't function as helpmates. If a man asks a woman these days to prepare a meal, many of our women tell them, I ain't your mama. But they didn't stop eating when they was just with their mother. Food is what sustains life. We don't even teach cooking anymore. Our women don't know how to prepare a meal, how to actually cook with food. And so that's a problem because that's a problem for your health as Black men and our children. Because what you eat generally determines what your health is going to be for the next 20, 30, or 40 years. It's what you put in your body. So preparing food is very important. But that's something that also has been kicked to the curb. We don't have people to do that. If you want to cook the...
Now, I'm not going to jump on the lady's case. I will say this, though, because she's jumping on her case, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is this, that you, if you cook healthy meals, and I ain't talking about meat, I ain't talking about, what else? I ain't talking about, besides meat. Stuff that, I ain't talking pasta. I'm talking about meals like vegetables, fruits, meals that are good and healthy for y'all. That would in turn help big time. That would help big time. And it is, y'all should know and learn how to cook if you don't know how to cook. For your family, for your kids. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm not gonna jump on y'all case.
You got to go to cooking school because you're not going to learn it at home.
Now listen, the fallen ones, the Anunnaki, that's what they're asking about. These are the guys who came and made outside nation men to come against you. Gave them the plan, they listened, and this is why they falling now. The fall is happening, but why?
An amazing revelation has been discovered. But first, let us begin with the ancient Sumerian story. Enki, though brilliant, was a spoiled child, jealous of his brother-in-law, and wanting a kingdom of his own. When Nibiru was faced with the crisis of loss of atmosphere, the Anunnaki decided to mine gold on the earth to reseed their atmosphere. Enki saw it as an opportunity to grab power. He fomented a worker revolt, knowing that he could use Nibiru's emergency to force the council to accept any.
Hold on, y'all coming on screen. So here's the problem with that. And this is why they was wrong. Because you are not supposed to interfere in anybody's district. No matter what your problem is, what your planet, no matter what the case. You are not supposed to go to somebody else's district and interfere. Especially not freaking make your own people out of some of their genes. Especially not steal and rape the people. Especially not teach them bad things and evil things and religion and lies. But that's what they did though. As soon as they entered our dimension, they were doomed. Because they violated the law. These are some of the universal laws y'all need to know about.
Enki wanted a world filled with slaves that he could rule over, which is something neither the Council nor the Anunnaki would have ever allowed. But Enki was shrewd. He convinced the Council that Nibiru would die if the gold-seeded atmospheric shield was delayed. He convinced them that the workers would not return to duty as they were following his orders, since he was in charge of the mining operation. He convinced the Council that the only solution was to create a non-sentient species out of the highest order ape available to do the labor, but make them incapable of reproduction, so they would naturally die off. The Council saw no alternative, so they reluctantly and conditionally agreed, and they allowed Enki to carry out the plan. But Enki pulled a fast one, and gave the new species the ability to breed, wanting a permanent stock of slaves for his planned kingdom. Enki went even further. He didn't just manipulate the ape's DNA, but he actually infused Anunnaki DNA into the mix. This would give him slaves that he would find attractive and acceptable to be in the company of. Enki did this both in the laboratory and also allowing his loyal striking workers to inseminate the females he created. This we find in Genesis 6, which led to the Nephilim. When Lord Anu and his son, Lord Enlil, learnt of this treachery, Enlil was sent to the earth to correct his brother's sin against the universe. As the Anunnaki have very strong moral code. Enlil took over on earth and brought Enki to justice. But it was too late. Enki had created several abominable and potentially dangerous seed lines, all without Anunnaki spirit and without Anunnaki morals and virtues.
All without Anunnaki spirit, morals, and virtues. Soulless beings. This is what he created. Soulless beings that did not, and they wasn't supposed to reproduce. Soulless,
but were violent beasts. The Council decided that such an abomination must never be allowed to progress, because they would be a cancerous infestation to the universe.
Yes.
And a danger to any other species they encountered.
And a danger to any other species they encounter. What happens with the eukaryotic cell organisms? White man, Asian man, Arab man, don't make a difference. What happens when they find something new? What's the first thing that they want to do? They want to capture it and they want to dissect it. They are a threat to all life. That's why they are abomination. They will not be allowed to leave this plane.
Because of Anunnaki morals, the genocide of a related race was nearly unthinkable. So they decided to let a natural event destroy this abomination. A kingdom of his own. So he went against the orders of the Council and protected segments of his created beings from the flood.
And how did he create these beings? Right in the video, through the highest intelligent form of the monkey species. That's what they did. Chimpanzee, Bobono monkey, Rhesus, unisnub-nosed monkey, Rhesus monkey, the whole nine.
Council learned this.
To let it be known that Enki or any of the other beings, as you can name, like big all those names, never created us. They created all the outside nations. We've been here, 9 ether light beings. We've been to ether. We are many places. And even when you sleep, 9 ether light beings, you travel to many places. You don't die. We had no need for them. They knew we would not help them, and so instead they made themselves. We had abilities back then, so they didn't want to mess with us. Instead, they made themselves evil things and gene spliced. And then whatever gene spliced, like a hybrid woman, they start having sex with the hybrid women that they created out of their genes and other genes. And then Nephilim giants came forth. So, and then of course, some of them decided we got to stop what we did. This is bad. All of this already doomed anyway. And one of them said, no, I can't let it happen, but save some of these people. So somebody had to make a spaceship, UFO, as y'all like to call it. And his name was Noah. Noah's Ark was a UFO. Remember, I showed y'all that video.
They were livid, and Enki paid a price for his treachery. But this left a growing species that was still as dangerous as ever. Satan, a reptilian, petitioned the council to eradicate man, so the threat would be contained. But man's true savior, Lord Enlil, who was Lord Rael, fought against Satan in front of the council on behalf of man. Lord Enlil argued that man was part Anunnaki and therefore possessed the divine spark. And if properly educated and nurtured, they could one day be equals. Satan vehemently disagreed, asserting that a species cannot be taught to have morals, that the law of love is either written on their hearts or it is not. The council found logic in both sides of the argument and offered a compromise. Since Satan was man's chief accuser, he and his people would be allowed to utilize part of Lord Enlil's plan to educate, but at the same time, weed out those that would not be capable of evolving. The plan would give Satan a set amount of time to fulfill this directive, after which he was to hand over the earth to his.
Now, make no mistake, they're going to try to play like they're good guys when they're all bad, so don't fall for the hijack. But time is almost up, and he has to hand it back over to the rightful owners, which is us, because we are. And that's not going to hand it to no Emily and all other guys.
Rightful custodians, the Anunnaki, at which point those that were considered evolvable would be educated and nurtured under the Anunnaki for a period of 1,000 years.
Okay, hold on. There's a hijack right there. We're not going with them, because that's that Mr. J trick where they snatch up, make you slaves. Let these outside nations go with them. That's where they're supposed to go, back with them, right? They're rightful owners, because they don't own us. They didn't make us. They didn't create us. Never fall for the hijack, y'all.
It's gigantic. One more time.